this month it'll be nearly 41 years that Laly has been preaching to me. And I remember some of the sermons, but not all the sermons. You know, they say, and Rajesh texted me today, but I tried to update that. Several years ago, they did a survey, and they found out that men speak about it started with 4,000 words, and some days they speak up to 10,000 words. But women, on the average, speak from 28,000 to 40,000 words a day. And the reason why women have to speak so much is because men don't hear it the first time. And so Laly had to repeat a lot of things to me, and she still keeps repeating, and I'm going to have her come and share a few things before we look into God's Word. I'm grateful for the way the Lord has blessed us, and that we were able to be in the ministry together for nearly 41 years. We will be married on the 27th of May, 1977. So it is 76, I'm sorry. And we've been in full-time ministry since 1977. And so we are grateful for what God has done in our lives and for the way the Lord has enabled us to be in His ministry, to have the privilege of proclaiming God's wonderful word and heralding the good news and seeing many come to know Jesus Christ and be established. So I'm going to ask Laly to come and share what is on her heart.
I'm really grateful to the Lord that we have such good pastors here in ICA. They take the time to teach us from the Word of God very seriously. So I'm very proud of that. And today, yesterday he was writing the order of service, said, don't put my name right next to you. People will think that I'm going to preach. But I'm not going to preach. I'm going to share some of the things that I had learned from three important people in my life. So that is what I am going to share. If anybody here who was born without a mother, we all have mothers, and I am very grateful for my family. And this morning, last several days, I was wanting to talk to my mother, but she passed 10 years ago. And you know, it's not because of Mother's Day. There are certain times that you really feel like you want to talk to your mother and want to ask certain things. Then all of a sudden you realize that she's not there for you to talk. And so if you haven't talked to your mother in the last few days, those of you who have a chance to talk to, please call and talk to your mother. That is very important. And I ask you to do that, but you may not get a lot of chances in the later years. And I was reading through what to say, but then I said I'm going to talk from my experience. So I saw an acrostic of Mother. M is for the million things that she gave you. O is that she's growing old. That happens to all mothers. They will grow old. And T is the tears she shed to save you. Pray for you. And children, if you are here, don't make your mom cry anyway. H is for heart of purest gold. E is for the eyes with love light and burning. And R is right. Right, she always will be. Who dares to say differently? This is what I was reading this morning. And then I thought I want to talk about three important mothers who have impacted my life while I was growing up. One is my grandmother. We lived with our grandparents until I was 10 years old. But I used to see her after that all the time. But that was, see, even when you are young, you can remember within that 10 years. So it's very important that you give good instruction to your children. Those first 10 years, you remember a lot of things. She was a great woman of hospitality and discernment. and was very active in the church too. She prayed for all her unsaved siblings because she was the first one to come to the Lord. And she prayed for all of them and also some of closest neighbors. They were all Christians, just nominal Christians. So she prayed for all them too. But in several years after, we were able to see all her siblings with the children and grandchildren. Everyone came to know the Lord. And some of the people, the neighbors that she prayed for, they all came to the Lord. And we were, with our generation, we were able to see while she was alive that God blessed them financially and every way. You know, you could see with your own eyes how much God has blessed them, and it was beyond our imagination. And I walked many miles with my grandmother and several other women in the church because they used to go house to house and proclaim the good news of Jesus. And I have walked with them miles, at least 5 miles during that 10 years of life. You know, I have walked. These are all the memories that come to my mind when I think about my grandmother. She was very compassionate, and while she was young, there was a young girl in our neighborhood. She was mentally challenged, and she took that girl and she grew up with us, with my parents. So she was very compassionate. She realized that this family was not able to take care of this young girl, so she lived with us. And then hospitality. She was known for her hospitality. There are a lot of people come and stayed at our home, women evangelists and men continuously. We always have somebody at our house, particularly one man. He came at a young age, and this was his house. He didn't have anything at all. The only thing that he had was a pillowcase full of clothes. He stayed with us continuously over many, many years. And what he did was, we realized that he was an angel that God sent for us. My grandmother took care of him. A lot of people said, why do you bother taking care of this man? And then finally she said, whatever it is, I'm going to take care of it. While we were at school, they started praying for us, and my home was the middle of the house. There was a room that was dedicated for prayer. Day and night, continuously, the prayers were going on, and they covered us with prayers. And this is what that man did. And he will go whenever he wants to, for 3 months at a time, and then come back, and this is the resting place that my grandmother provided. And she was very discerning too. My grandmother would stand, I still remember, she would stand at the gate, and then she will watch who all were walking by. And then she will see. Now, looking back, now I realize that there is a time that she was standing there and looking there, and she will ask the people who go by and ask them, where are you going, who are you? And then they say, they'll come over and have some food. So she was we had plenty of food always to give away. So she fed thousands of people who were passing by, and so she was discerned for the physical need of the people and also for the salvation of their soul. She was always at the giving end. While she was older, children and grandchildren will give her money. That's all she wanted, money to give away. When she goes to any place, the Bible, different pages of the Bible will have a lot of money that she puts in the pages, and then wherever she thinks that there is a need, and she would give that money away. So we knew that, and we used to shower her with a lot of cash so she could give away. And the next person impacted my life is my own mother. God saved her at the age of 12 during their family devotion time at their home. And Psalm 11, the last verse, touched her heart. And this is what it is. For the Lord is righteous. He loves justice. Upright men will see his face. That really stuck in her life. And she said, I wanted to see God's face. So she lived longing to see God's face. And she knows that she has to live upright, so then she can see God's face. So these are all the things that were told by her to us. So it was really good for you all to continuously tell your children, how did you get saved, what happened, It is good to tell your children. Sometimes you think that the children are not listening, but they do hear. These are all the things that we heard over and over again. She was a woman of prayer. I remember 2 distinct times that she was fasting and praying for 40 days without any food at all for 40 days. So later we realized that she was praying for me and for my brother that time. And she was one of, my mother has 4 other siblings, and at the age of 21, she was sick with tuberculosis. Those days there was not much treatment for that, but God miraculously healed her. And later on in her life, some of you have seen her, so later on she had cancer. The Lord miraculously healed her. And among the 5 siblings, she was the one who lived the longest. And she was ready, by the time she was 75, 76, she was ready to go. And the Lord has done a lot of things, and she only a mother will pray for you like that, 40 days fasting and praying for your children. That is only a mother will do that. And we were very grateful that they were. And another thing that I have noticed when I was growing up, my grandmother, that is my mother's mother-in-law, and they got along really well. And they would share anything that happens in the world, and they will sit down and talk. And if any of us will come close to something that we can't hear, they say, just go away, just go away. And they will tell a lot of secrets together. So which really helped me. My mother continuously prayed for me to become a servant of the Lord. That is the only reason that I am standing here helping my husband in the ministry, because that was her prayer. And then my mother-in-law, seeing my mother and her mother-in-law, my grandfather, it really helped me to get along with my mother-in-law. I picked up what she expected from me right away, and God really helped me to get along with my mother-in-law, and we loved each other so well. And I have learned so much from my mother-in-law. Mommy was a very disciplined and very capable person, and I understood that from the very beginning. And then I was able to sort of, satisfy whatever she needed in a daughter-in-law. So I was very particular that she will understand me better too. So we got along really well, and she had given us tons and tons of instructions. You will go and sit with Mommy, and she will ask questions that you will never thought of. And then you will go home and think, why did she ask? What is she thinking of? So I had such a great time with my mother-in-law. And when I think about all this, their standard was way high. And then I pray that we can come at least closer to that standard. And so with God's help, we can do a lot of things with what we have learned. Here, I am very grateful for all the women, and we have Bible studies, and everybody will get a chance to share and all that. I am amazed how much we can do by learning and studying. And my favorite woman in the Bible is Abigail, and I always think about her, and she was very quick and wise. I want all of us to be very quick and wise, and that's what I like to have. And we covered like 68 women, meaning Yeah, and I would like for all of you to be joined in the Women's Bible Study, which really helps. It is only once a month, and that is the first weekend of the month, Saturday of the month. And many of you are first generation Christians, not all of you, but some of you have. So what do you want your children to tell later on? And we were at the Tuesday Bible study, and we were talking about Israelites were crossing the river Jordan, and Joshua asked him to pick up 12 stones and then said, keep it, and when your children ask, you tell them the story. So we have a story to tell. All of you have a story to tell. You tell your children what happened, how you got saved, what the Lord has done for you. Make sure that you are good examples to your family and the people around. You don't do the things only people that you know, but you can do things to people that you don't know, and that way you will get to know people, and also God will bless and reward you manifold. And ask the God to help us to give a godly legacy with your family. So that is my prayer. All of us will live a life that is pleasing to the Lord and leave a legacy for our generations to come. And then your husband, your children, all of them will be calling you blessed. And that's all I wanted to share with you.